You called me and you said to me, Dave, I didn't know this car came with friends. Right? Remember that? I was like, and you know what? I thought that was perfectly said. That was so eloquent. Well, here I am in Coral Springs, Florida, at a Walmart, at an Electrify America. I'm going to be doing some filming today. And what do we have here? Look at this. Walmart using 100% electric, using the E-Transit plugged into the Electrify America station. So welcome to another Out of Spec Dave video, where today we're gonna have a great time with my buddy Rob, who I've known for many years. We're going for a ride in a Kia EV6 Wind Edition. Look at this bad boy over here. So join us, my friend Rob and I, for a quick ride, and buckle up because we're gonna have some fun. So here I am with my friend Rob, and you know, many of you know that I have this series called the Your EV Journey is My Destination. That's my tagline. And one of the things I want to do on this channel is speak to lots of different people who I know, lots of people who I don't know, and ask them, why are they driving an EV? And so that's what we're going to find out today from my buddy Rob, who, to my knowledge, was never a car guy, and he seems genuinely interested in what's going on with the electric vehicles, and specifically in love with this Kia EV6. I love that logo. Look at that. Awesome. Rob, take me on a little tour of your car, if you don't mind.
I think the car's got some great lines. And I don't know, I think there are so many EVs that just look like EVs, and this not only looked like a car, but or an SUV, but it had some modern kind of cool lines to it. And it's got great storage. I mean, the trunk capacity is huge. The seats lie flat. The fact that you don't, you know, that the back seat, everybody is comfortable in. The fact that you don't have a drivetrain and this bump in the middle seat. I mean, while it's obvious for all EVs, you know, this being my first EV, such a treat when you have to load 3 people in that back seat. I was really happy with the look. I think I'm even happier with the drive and the technology, the safety features. Makes it hard to understand why anybody wants old technology of a combustion engine car when you can get all of the latest.
Well, no, that makes every bit of sense. So why don't we hop in and go for a drive? So Rob, welcome to the Out of Spec Dave channel. How funny is that? I mean, is that crazy?
I've been excited to watch Out of Spec motoring for, you know, over the course of the last year, and glad to see that you're getting more involved.
Yeah, well, you know, it's funny, but I started making videos maybe a year and a half ago, every once in a while, and now I'm sort of stepping it up a little bit, and I'm so happy to be with you today because of all the people that I've known in my life that you know, you've known me a long time, right? And
long time.
And I'll come in. We used to be colleagues. As a matter of fact, Rob used to be my boss at Lehman Brothers years ago, and he was an amazing manager, and we had a lot of fun, a lot of pressure, right? A lot of time, a lot of crazy stuff with electronic trading and all that. But you know, and I used to come in and tell Rob, "Oh yeah, I got this new snowmobile," and he would look at me cross-eyed, like, "What? Who cares? Right? What is wrong with you?" And then I'd say, "Oh, we got this new whatever, you know, car, new mini EV, or not EV, obviously, but," and he would look at me cross-eyed and say, I not only do I not care, but will you get back to work?" Right? So,
pretty much.
So, you know, we'll get to your transition to why you're now, you know, an EV colleague. But I'm curious about your journey, and like, tell me a little bit about when you were a kid. What were you into? What was your passion?
you know, it's funny because I have two brothers, and they are both car guys.
Right.
My older brother, a classic British car guy, you know, Triumph in his garage, of a 1972 Opel GT.
Oh wow.
I mean, he's a classic car guy. My younger brother has been in and out of the car business his whole career or his whole life. I mean, he trades cars, he goes to car auctions, he talks about the detail of cars. I like the car, you know, my favorite car was the one that you woke up and as a kid, we didn't, you know, we were middle class-ish. I mean, sometimes the car worked and sometimes it didn't. You know, I mean,
so if you got to where you needed to go, that was a good day.
It was a good day.
Right.
I mean, it was,
right.
You know, I mean, and I was not a, you know, classic car guy. I wanted the car to work so I could get to work. Right. You know,
yeah.
And
yeah.
You know, when the
or maybe you didn't want it to work so you didn't have to go to school. You know, so yeah, I wasn't much of a car guy, and you know, in an adult, I certainly appreciated a nicer car and had nice cars, not crazy cars, but you know, always, you know, relatively, you know, new car because I wanted it to work. Right. And what really, I guess, you know, when we talk about the EV world, well, what got me here is really a combination of two things. One is I'm more a technology guy than a car guy, and you know, being able to have the latest technology in an automobile, a computer on wheels, as some people refer to it, was just like, why wouldn't you? And if I could do my small contribution to helping the environment without any pain to me, without any real cost to me, because, you know, I mean, government was giving me a nice tax credit. That's right. You know, I mean, I'm going to drive a car with the greatest, safest options, you know, and, you know, as I thought about my life, this kind of, you know, paranoia about where the next charging station is was not something I was buying into at all. Right. So, you know, so then I started searching for an EV, and, you know, I mean, everybody knows what it was like last year. You know, how did I decide on the Kia? I mean, I really liked the way it looked. I thought it was a good price point. Right. And I could get one. Yeah, well, you know what was so funny about this was, and I have a couple questions for you to backtrack, but before we go there, I talked to Rob. You know, we talk quite often, maybe, I don't know, 5-6 times a month, something like that. Sometimes when we got a deal going or we got something going more than that. But I get this call from Rob, and he's like, Dave, is the EV6 a good car? And this is like out of the blue, right? A guy that I don't even know likes cars. I didn't even know you knew what an EV6 was. And like, should I buy it? And I said, well, Rob, you know, like, I'm going to the dealership right now. And then I said, well, actually, it's a great car. It's a great first choice. And then about an hour and a half later, he calls me up and he says, they're selling me a Charger for $1,800. Should I get that? And I go, no, whatever you do not do that, because, you know, they weren't really marking up the car for you, which they had it, right? That's right. And they weren't marking it up, which was a good thing, but they were trying to make their money in another way, right? Unbelievable. You know, Dave's given me good advice, you know, several times in my life, but that might have been the best advice I ever got. Well, I got, you know, 2 days later, a day later, he sent me an Amazon link for, you know, $199 or something like that, and had it installed in my apartment. But Rob, you know, I want to go back to your comment. Is interesting to me because you and I both have worked in intangibles for our whole lives, describing things to clients that you can't touch and feel, right?
Yep.
And yet you also said you're a technology, and I know that about you, very technology minded. But I'm curious, the Model S Tesla has been out since 2012. Why didn't you get intrigued before 2021?
I guess a good question. I've certainly spent more and more time thinking about the environment and climate change and more of, you know, what I could do. It became a proven technology. Mm-hmm. You know, I wasn't. Maybe I should be embarrassed that I wasn't an earlier first mover. You know, maybe I should have been, but maybe I wanted to see that it really lived up to it.
Right. No, I think that's a fair point, right? Not a fad, not a phase.
Not a fad, not a phase. And,
right.
And listen, I think, you know, Tesla did amazing things, convincing the world it could be done, convincing, you know, every automotive company they had to adapt.
Right.
You know, what, Dave, remind me, what is the price point of the Model S, or when it came out?
Oh, when it came out, it was a lot of money.
It was a lot of money.
I mean, it was well over $100,000.
That might have been a part of it. You know, that might have been a part of it also.
You know, because Tesla's strategy was bring out the Big Mac Daddy car, the expensive car, to fund the operation, so they could ultimately bring out the 3 and the Y, right? So that yeah. I mean, listen, what, you know.
And I guess, you know, listen, you know, I'm a technology guy. I'm also a fiscal guy. The fact that the government was no longer giving the credit when I was buying it on the Tesla,
right,
pushed me to other non-Tesla cars if I could find it.
Right.
You know, and the fact that I could get the tax credit on the Kia was a great thing. I mean, I liked the look of the car.
Yeah.
Throwing the tax credit. You know, I'll give a shout out to Rick Case down here in South Florida for, you know, selling it at MSRP.
Right.
You know, with the one caveat, come in and get it now if you want it.
Right. Because
it will be gone by this afternoon.
No, that's true. And had you ever driven an EV before you went in?
Yeah, you know, one of my very close friends, early adopter, had one of the early Teslas.
Okay.
Was all, you know, I mean, listen, Tesla had beautiful, you know, dashboard screen, but, you know, I forgot that sometimes the instantaneous torque and speed that you get.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it truly makes getting onto a highway just a whole different feeling.
It's effortless, no gear shifting.
It's effortless.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I mean, I'm not the guy that tests 0 to 60, but and don't often feel the need even for sport mode. It has such nice power to it.
Right.
But look at that. Oh. Cut off a Tesla. Sorry about that, but hey.
Well, you got the spot. He didn't. So
yeah, exactly. What's yeah? So you know, one of the other nice surprises. Well, I usually you know, charge at home when I'm away from the house. The people that I've had the chance to meet.
Right.
You know, charging.
I know you know, it's funny you mentioned that because you called me and you said to me, Dave, I didn't know this car came with friends. Right? Remember that? I was like, and you know what? I thought that was perfectly said. That was so eloquent, and it's true. Tell me about that.
You know, I just have never met a person at an EV charging station that didn't want to talk, you know, or didn't want to ask me, how do I like mine? How do you like yours? You know?
So you're saying that when you go to Mobil, Shell, Exxon, you don't talk to people when you're filling up your car with gas?
No, you know,
right?
I haven't had that experience. I mean,
no, I haven't either.
It's kind of, you know, it comes with friends. We feel like a family, a clique. You know, you have certain similar beliefs or just passions, be it, technology, the environment, fiscally, government's giving me free money on this.
Yeah.
It's been great. And
oh, by the way, those tax credits are basically history as of this new act. Yeah, crazy. So, but
well, they come with. I think the answer is they come with a lot more caveats.
A lot more caveats. Yeah.
A lot more caveats.
We're gonna have to study that. You and I. We'll have a Zoom call over that. You and I figure out what we've got for our next move.
Oh, I think that's going to be a good video for out of Spec Dave.
There's tons of them out there, but I haven't really had the chance this one. But what's funny is probably about 2 months after you had this car, I get a call from Rob. He's like, Dave, what do you think about the BMW i4? I said, are you turning into me? Are you ready to flip? Because I'm all into that. Let's go get the i4. I'll fly down today. Let's go get it. I mean,
like I said, I've learned one or two things from Dave. The energy, the passion that he has for the flip, for trying the new car.
That's my trader's mentality. You're the one who taught me that.
Right.
I'm just doing it with cars instead of stock.
And if you're getting paid for it, it's
well, there you go, right? So
the total no-brainer. But it's I mean, listen, following what's coming out in the next generation, really kind of fun just seeing every manufacturer getting into their EV, and whether it's moving more to sportier or trying to get more distance or just moving down to a more affordable. It's really exciting.
So
space.
What car has your eye? If you were to say you have to sell this EV6 today, where are we driving? Where are we going? And by the way, let's go do it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Polestar's done had some really nice designs. That new.
Interesting. Wow.
I mean, I've got a down payment on. I got on my list on a Lyric. I think that's
okay.
That's beautifully kitted out.
Have you seen it?
I've seen it in person.
Really, I have not. Tell me about it. How does it? Is it big? Is it small? I don't really know.
It's not suburban big,
right?
But bigger than bigger than a Tahoe. Not
really.
Yeah, it's big.
Okay.
But it's really, Cadillac's done a really nice, beautiful job with the finishes in it.
And by the way, Super Cruise, is really good.
Yeah. So
Kyle just tested a GMC pickup truck on the Hogback Loop. He goes up I-70 in Colorado.
Yes.
And I'm not going to reveal anything yet, but it did very well. It did very well in the autonomous driving, in terms of lane keeping.
Yeah.
So that Lyric has the Super Cruise on it, which is very good.
Yeah, I mean, I really like that car. I can't afford it, but that new Polestar 6 2-seater supercar is just.
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, they opened the book yesterday, for that limited edition first 500.
Yeah.
Look.
Wait. So, and you didn't put an order in?
It was the. I'm moving up.
What are we talking about here? If you love it, do you love it?
No, the Taycan must be
Taycan. All right.
My favorite.
Now we're talking.
My favorite of all of the EVs.
Well, I mean, when you pulled up and you're like, Dave, not like hi, right? Dave, you see that baby blue Taycan over there? I was like, this guy's got the bug. I know he's got the bug now.
I mean, the Audi is a little cheaper than the Taycan, right? The GT.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if a couple of things go well, that would be a nice 60th birthday present to myself.
There you go. There you go. I think you owe it to yourself. So if it were the same money,
would you go Taycan or Audi GT?
I'd go Audi GT.
Wow, I like that.
Yeah, I would honestly.
Have you seen the Cross Turismo?
Yeah.
It's more of a wagon.
More of a wagon, not my thing.
Right.
Not my thing. But a lot of, I think Kyle really likes that. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
He does.
I heard him speaking to it. It's.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really going back to where uncool is now cool, right? A wagon.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, can you imagine driving around in your mom's wagon and thinking she's got a cool vehicle?
Right. So what car did your mom drive back then? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, my mom. We had 4 kids. My mom, drove a Chevy van before they were the minivans.
Okay.
I mean, where it was, you looked like you were driving the small school bus. But then, there's the product of 4 kids and a vacation home that was
right.
500 miles away, and
right.
2 dogs, and load everybody in.
So Rob's EV journey, you're having fun, aren't you?
I'm having fun. I think it's what's the most fun? Driving past a gas station when gas was $5 a gallon.
Oh yeah.
And not even caring.
Right.
I mean,
what I call gas stations?
What?
Air stations.
Yes.
Because that's where I get air for my tires.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just saying that is, I got in, I was away on vacation for 2 weeks, got in the car, the sensor comes on, tells me that my rear passenger tire is low.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Great. I know that. Stop by, like you said, that air station.
Yeah, you go to the air station.
You go to the air station, put in my 4 quarters.
Pick up a hot dog and a Diet Coke, and you're all set.
I got the Diet Coke. I didn't get
You didn't get the hot dog. Oh, okay.
I'm not,
No, I know. Listen,
I'm a New York City. I'm a dirty dog loyalist.
You're in training.
Yeah.
Right? So, I wanted to just sort of ask you about your next. You have a number of deposits on vehicles right now.
Yes.
And the theory behind that is you're not really sure what you want to do next, but what's $500 here, $1,000 there if it's a fully refundable situation, right?
Yeah. It's I feel like I have a marker, a stake, where if it comes in, I'm like you now. I'm bored.
Right.
I mean, I'd like to try something else. And
what's this cone situation?
And if I could do it without it costing me a lot of money, I mean, maybe why not?
Right.
It's also, given the supply chain, it's not like you can make the decision in 3 months. You got to make the decision 9 months ahead of what you're thinking about.
It's crazy.
For the chance to have the opportunity.
Right. Yeah, it's true. I want to hear just a little bit about your experience charging at Electrify America, not from the social or cultural side of it, but just technical side. How has it been? Have you had issues, or is it pretty easy and clean?
Where I haven't had issues with respect to waiting, for a slot, for a position.
Okay.
But I have had issues where sometimes I'm pulling at 120, 140, and sometimes, it's pulling at 50. I remember calling you once and you saying, unplug and go to a different one.
Right.
There's nothing you can do.
Or even unplug and stay at the same unit, but go to the other handle.
No, exactly.
Right.
That's right. And I've read a lot of Electrify America, or all of the companies about how they say that they can do the over-the-air repairs to keep them up, but I don't see that in reality.
Yeah.
And that is a little disappointing.
Yeah.
Not such an issue where you're pulling into the Walmart and then there is 6 or 8 stations, but my local mall that has 1 unit, I mean, if it's not working right, I mean, I just wasted,
Yeah.
you know, a half hour driving over there to be, you know, disappointed with the charge.
And your living situation at home from a charging standpoint, tell me about that.
I have a charger in my parking spot. I live in an older building where, you know, they have the max capacity. We're pretty much at max capacity of electricity that can come in. So I couldn't get a level 2 that charges at 7 kilowatts an hour. They only let me put in one that charges at like 3 kilowatts an hour.
I see.
Okay, so, you know, so once in a while I live near a town park. I'll just park at the town park, charge at 7.1 kilowatt an hour, and walk home, come back in 4 hours.
Right.
So, you know, my situation is fine on an overnight, but you know, if I'm just home for a couple of hours, it's a rather slow charge.
And have you taken any long road trips with this car?
Yes, and you know, just very little planning.
Right.
You know, and no problems.
What apps did you use to find where you were going to charge?
I use my onboard nav stuff. But in terms of planning,
like, how do you know where your next station is going to go?
Electrify America.
Oh, so you go to the Electrify America app.
Yep.
You figure out where that is, and you put that address into your into your nav. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And that's been a pretty smooth process.
Right. Okay.
I mean, I've watched the Kyle video where he runs out of juice.
Which video?
Yeah.
Which one? He's had a rough week. Last night he tweeted out he had a Bolt EUV.
Right.
And he had the thing floored, and he pulled into the charging station, and the car died, and he went to see if it would actually back up, and it wouldn't. He nailed it perfectly. But, you know, listen, you know, that's part of the drama, part of the fun.
Yeah, no. Exactly. I have gotten to the point where I turned off the air conditioner once.
Well, you know, just to keep yourself a little comforted, these the EGMP platform cars, whether it's the EV6, the Ioniq 5, or the GV60 from Genesis, there is buffer below zero.
Wish you didn't tell me that.
Okay.
No, I'm glad.
You don't watch my videos then.
No, I know.
No. So what I'm telling you is that if you get down to zero.
Yeah.
Now, no. By the way, if someone does this and they get stranded, don't blame me. Okay. But my experience for the cars that I've owned is that you can go at least another 6 to 10 miles past once you hit zero, depending on how fast you're going and all that. But well, listen, Rob, you've had a remarkable journey from you could care less about cars to now being passionate about cars. But I think it's also gone beyond that a little bit with you, right? So in other words, you know, your interests lie in finding out about green energy and all that. And I know you showed such an interest. You actually went out. You were visiting your daughter, I think, in Denver, and you drove up to see Kyle at the Powerhouse in Fort Collins. Right?
Exactly.
What did you think of that?
I thought the Powerhouse was very interesting in terms of things that they're doing away from Kyle. But, you know, what Kyle, first of all, you know, what a backdrop for an office.
Oh, I know.
You know, how insane a backdrop does he have, and how lucky is he to be able to work in that environment?
Yeah.
But what Kyle is doing, or, you know, and you, about making people more passionate people more passionate about EVs, and converting, I think, the non-believer to be comfortable with the change to, you know, from ICE technology is unbelievable.
Well, you know, what I'll leave you with this thought, Rob. And I just, first of all, I want to thank you for your story, because I think it's an incredible one. But Kyle and I, we have a new theory. We want to convince everyone to not go to the EVs, right? And the reason is because we don't want to wait at the Electrify America or superchargers anymore. We just want no one to go EV. Please don't go EV. I'm kidding when I say that.
No,
but,
no,
you know,
no.
it's just the hassles that you have with these you think about out in California on the holiday weekends, going from Vegas back to LA. I mean, people are going crazy out there.
You're right, but you know, I mean, going back to this bill and eliminating a lot of the tax credit for a lot of the cars for a lot of people, but there's also a lot of good money in there for further building out the charging electric infrastructure.
Right.
Because without the infrastructure, you're right, people are gonna stop buying them.
Yeah, I mean,
and again, we don't need to do one thing right as a country. We need to do 1,000 things right. But EVs are, you know, a good part of it.
And the what's happening now is the sales of the EVs is outpacing the maybe not everywhere, right?
No, the technology, but the infrastructure.
The infrastructure. So
yeah, no, I get that, and clearly government has a lot of work to do there.
Yeah. Let's just pray they don't put in, you know, 50 kilowatt DC fast charging stations and say, hey, look, America, we've given you fast charging.
No,
you know, like
I mean, listen, going back to one thing about the EV6 that is amazing at its price point is the speed at which it charges.
Oh, absolutely.
When I am at a fast charger, I'm not there, and it's working correctly.
Yes.
I'm not there for an hour.
No.
I'm there for 12 minutes. I'm there for 16 minutes. I'm there 18 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I barely have enough time to get that Diet Coke and the hot dog that you recommended.
Awesome. Well, Rob, listen, thank you so much for joining me on another episode of Out of Spec Dave. I really enjoyed hearing your story. I learned a little bit. I didn't actually know about your brother's passion for their cars, and you know,
I'm gonna have you over to my brother's garage mahal one day.
Oh, I'd love to do that.
You know,
yeah.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, no, and I also want to leave you with this thought. I'm very proud of you, Rob. I really am, because this is it's a lonely place to make that leap, but like you said before, EVs come with friends, right?
Yep, EV come with friends. Thank you very much,
absolutely.
Dave.
All right.
I appreciate this, and thank you.
You're very welcome. Have a good one, everyone.